Imagine this scene. You're in an important meeting at work, presenting a project in which you have been working weeks of effort. Suddenly, a colleague makes a hard and unexpected criticism. Your mind shoots, your heart speeds up, and you feel that heat on your face. Even before realizing it, it is already responding impulsively with a higher voice and words that I would not want to have said. The weather gets heavy, and you leave the meeting feeling frustrated and sorry. Have you been through something like this? Situations like this are common in the lives of all of us. Whether at work, at home, or relationships, emotions can dominate us when we least expect it, leading to impulsive reactions that often only get things worse. But what if I tell you that there is a way to deal with these moments more balanced and serene? A way that not only helps control emotions, but also transforms the way you face challenges. Today, you will learn 7 Stoic practices to control your emotions in difficult situations. These techniques, based on Stoic philosophy, will help you react calmly, develop resilience, and cultivate a mindset that prioritizes what is under your control, accepting what is not. Best of all, you can start applying these practices today. If you have already felt overwhelmed by stress, anxiety, or frustration, this video is for you. In the end, you will have practical tools to face more serenity and confidence challenges, transforming the way you deal with adversity. Ready to start this journey? Let's go. Before we dive into practices, it is important to understand where this wisdom comes from and why it is still so relevant today. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy, created in Greece by thinkers like Zeno de Citio and developed by big names such as Seneca, Epicteto, and Marco Aurelio. But don't worry, you don't have to be a philosopher to apply these concepts in your daily life. Stoicism is, above all, a practical philosophy. The central idea of Stoicism is simple but powerful. There are things that are under our control and things they are not. What is under our control? Our thoughts, emotions, and actions. What is not? Almost everything else. What others say as they act, traffic, climate, past, future. It seems obvious, but how many times have we taken energy by trying to control the uncontrollable? And how many times does this lead us to frustration, stress, and anxiety? Stoics believed that the key to a quiet and happy life is to focus only on what we can control and accept what is beyond our power. This does not mean being passive or resigned. On the contrary, it is about acting wisely where we can make a difference and set aside what we cannot change. It is a mindset that frees us from guilt, repentance, and excessive anxiety. And why does that matter so much today? We live in a world full of pressures. At work, we are charged for increasing results. On social networks, we are bombarded with unreal comparisons and expectations. In personal life, we deal with conflicts, disappointments, and uncertainties. It is easy to feel overwhelmed, but Stoicism offers us an anchor, a way to navigate these storms without losing balance. Imagine, for example, dealing with a difficult boss. You cannot control its behavior, but you can control how it reacts to criticism. Or think of an unexpected resignation. You can't change the fact that you have lost your job, but you can decide how you will face the situation and what steps to take. These are examples of how Stoicism can be applied in the 21st century, turning challenges into growth opportunities. Now that you understand the basis of Stoicism, you are ready to know the 7 practices that will help you put this philosophy into action. Let's go. Practice 1. Control dichotomy. The first practice is the control dichotomy, a fundamental concept of Stoicism. It teaches us to separate what is under our control and what is not. It seems simple, but how many times do we get worried about things that we can't change? Traffic, the climate, the opinion of others, the past, the future, all is out of our control. What is under our control? Our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Imagine, for example, that you are stuck in a traffic jam. You cannot control traffic, but you can control how it reacts to it. Instead of getting angry and stressed, you can use this time to hear a podcast, reflect on the day, or simply take a deep breath. Applying controlled dichotomy not only reduces stress, but also releases energy to focus on what really matters. Practice 2. Negative visualization. The second practice is negative visualization, also known as premeditatio malorum. This technique consists in imagining the worst possible scenario of a situation. It may seem against intuitive, but the idea is not to be pessimistic. It is to prepare emotionally for any challenge that may arise. For example, imagine that you are about to make an important presentation at work. Instead of being nervous just thinking about what can go wrong, you can use negative visualization to imagine the worst scenario. What if the projector fails? What if you forget about the content? What if anyone asks a difficult question? By viewing these scenarios, you can prepare mentally to deal with them. And when things do not give as wrong as the imagined, you will feel more confident and grateful. This practice not only reduces anxiety, but it also helps us value what we already have. After all, when we prepare for the worst, anything beyond that looks like a bonus. Practice 3. Meri mori. The third practice is meri mori, a Latin expression that means, remember that you will die. It may seem dark at first glance, but this reflection is one of the most powerful of Stoicism. She reminds us of the finitude of life, and with that, helps us prioritize what really matters. Imagine that you are having a stressful day at work, full of deadlines and demands. Now stop for a moment and think, will this matter 5 years from now? And in 10? This simple question can bring clarity and help you focus on what is essential, leaving aside lower concerns. Memento mori also teaches us how to value the time we have. How many times do we postpone important conversations, personal projects, or moments with those we love because we think there will always be time? Death is inevitable, but the way we live there is in our hands. Use this practice to live with more purpose and less regrets. Practice 4. Morning meditation. The fourth practice is morning meditation, a powerful habit to start the day with focus and clarity. Stoics believed that the early hours of the morning are ideal for preparing the mind and spirit for the challenges to come. This practice doesn't have to be complicated, just book a few minutes to reflect and plan. Imagine waking up and before checking your phone or hurrying for work, sitting in silence for 5 to 10 minutes. During this time, you might ask yourself, what challenges can I face today? How can I deal with them in a balanced way? What is under my control and what is not? This reflection helps to anticipate possible obstacles and to prepare emotionally for them. Morning meditation is also an opportunity to define your intentions for the day. What kind of person do you want to be today? How do you want to react to adversity? Starting the day with this mindset prepares you to act wisely no matter what happens. Practice 5. Self-conditioning. The fifth practice is self-completion, a technique that helps us see situations more objectively, as if we were watching from outside. When we are in the middle of an emotional crisis, it is easy to lose perspective and react impulsively. Self-acting allows us to step back and analyze the situation more clearly. Imagine, for example, that you are in the middle of a heated discussion with a family member. Instead of getting carried away by the emotion of the moment, try to find yourself out. What would I say to a friend who was going through this? This change of perspective can help you respond more rationally and compassively, rather than reacting with anger or frustration. This practice is also useful for dealing with criticism or feedback. Instead of taking it to the personal side, you might ask yourself, is there anything useful in this criticism? How can I use it to improve? Self-arising transforms emotional challenges into growth opportunities. Practice 6. Radical acceptance. The sixth practice is radical acceptance, a concept that teaches us how to embrace reality as it is, without resistance or denial. We often spend energy fighting things that we cannot change, which only increases our frustration and suffering. Radical acceptance helps us save this energy and direct it to what is really under our control. Imagine, for example, that you are stuck in a traffic jam. You cannot control traffic, but you can control how it reacts to it. Instead of getting angry and stressed, you can accept the situation and use this time to hear a podcast, reflect on the day, or simply take a deep breath. Radical acceptance does not mean being passive or resigned. It means choosing where to invest your energy. This practice is also powerful for dealing with losses and disappointments. Instead of getting stuck in, "Why did this happen to me?" you might ask yourself, "How can I move on from here?" Radical acceptance helps us find peace even in the midst of chaos, turning challenges into opportunities for inner growth. Practice 7. Stoic gratitude. The seventh and last practice is Stoic gratitude, a powerful way of cultivating contentment and inner peace. Stoics believe that gratitude is not just a feeling, but a daily practice that helps us value what we already have, instead of focusing on what we lack. Imagine finishing the day reflecting on 3 things you are grateful. It can be simple, like a hot meal, a significant conversation, or even the fact that you have a ceiling about your head. Stoic gratitude reminds us that even on the most difficult days, there is always something to be appreciated. This practice not only improves mood, but also strengthens emotional resilience. In addition, gratitude helps us maintain the perspective. When we feel dissatisfied or frustrated, remembering the good things we already have can bring clarity and balance. Stoic gratitude is an antidote against chronic dissatisfaction and a way to a fuller and more serene life. Before we go to the next chapter, let's quickly recap the 7 Stoic practices you have learned. 1. Control dichotomy. Focus on what is under your control and accept what is not. 2. Negative visualization. Prepare emotionally by imagining the worst scenario. 3. Mary Mori. Remember the finitude of life to prioritize what really matters. 4. Morning meditation. Start the day with reflection and planning. 5. Self-detention. See situations from the outside to react clearly. 6. Radical acceptance. Accept reality without resistance. 7. Stoic gratitude. Cultivate gratitude for what you already have. These practices are like tools you can use in different situations. Choose one to test today and see how it can turn your way of dealing with challenges. Let's imagine a common situation. You have just been fired from your job. It is a difficult time, full of uncertainty and intense emotions. How can Stoic practices help you deal with this situation? 1. Control dichotomy. First, you recognize that the resignation has already happened and is no longer under your control. What is under your control is how you react. Update your resume, seek new opportunities, and take care of your mental health. 2. Negative viewing. You imagine the worst possible scenario, being unemployed for months. But instead of despairing, you prepare yourself emotionally and create an action plan, such as cutting spending and expanding your contact network. 3. Mary Mori. You reflect on the finitude of life and realize that this challenge is temporary. This brings clarity about what really matters: your health, your family, and your personal growth. 4. Morning meditation. Every morning you reserve a few minutes to reflect on your day goals and how you can approach a new job opportunity. 5. Self-detention. You see yourself from the outside as an observer and ask yourself, what would I say to a friend who went through this? This helps you to be more compassionate with yourself and to avoid excessive self-criticism. 6. Radical acceptance. You accept the reality of resistance without resistance, understanding that fighting it only brings more suffering. Instead, you focus on moving on. 7. Stoic gratitude. You reflect on what you still have: your health, your skills, the support of friends and family. This brings balance and hope. By applying these practices, you turn a difficult situation into a growth opportunity, maintaining serenity and clarity even in the midst of adversity. We have reached the end of this video, but this is where the journey really begins. The 7 Stoic practices you have learned today are not just philosophical concepts. They are powerful tools to turn the way you face challenges and live your life. By applying these techniques, you can react calmly instead of impulsiveness, develop emotional resilience, and cultivate a mindset that prioritizes what really matters. But remember, Stoicism is not something you learn just watching videos or reading books. It is a philosophy that needs to be practiced every day. So I challenge you, choose one of these practices and test today. It may be morning meditation to start the day clearly, the Stoic gratitude to value what you already have, or any other that makes sense to you right now. And when you do that, come back here and tell me in the comments how was your experience. I would love to know how these practices are impacting your life. If you like this video, be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive more content like this.